pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You do roll call, please.
Michael Hankins,
Here.
Gary Shield, Jim Ferguson, Kathleen Waltz,
Here.
Robert Mueller.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for someone to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Kathy made a motion, Bob seconded. Has everyone had a chance to read the previous minutes? Oh, I'm sorry. All those in favor, there's only the three of us. I forgot. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? None. Hearing is passed. Have you had a chance to read the minutes?
We know right now.
Okay. I know that we don't have a lot of meetings because we designate the use of our funds, and there's no reason to have a meeting unless we have an issue come up for expensive funds.
I'll move we approve the minutes if there aren't any changes.
Second.
Motion by Kathy and seconded by Bob. All those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried. You have a financial report in the back of this. It shows our funds at present. With interest, we have $17,127.78. As of right now, basically all of our expenses have been taken care of. The biggest expense was the $15,850 for the TV commercial, which is running currently. The other expenses which are not showing, the big ones that are not showing here are the billboards. The only one we got here is Lamar, but we do have on the agenda under new business renewal of billboards. The money's coming in and we're solvent. So do I have a motion that we approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kathy and second by Bob.
Just a question.
Go ahead. We have less questions on that.
No, it's just like for the television commercials, did you transfer money to Sandra's account and the city out of the Tourism Tax Commission account? Or who write, the checks are still written by?
No, the checks are written by, and that was a problem. Before they would start it, they said, well, you haven't sent us any money. And what we said was, you haven't sent us an invoice. I mean, this city's not going to let us pay a bill until we get an invoice. So as soon as they sent the invoice to our city treasurer, she wrote the check.
The checks are written out.
They're all written out of this tourism account.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we don't do a transfer between.
No.
No, they're posted to
They're posted that way.
Okay.
Yeah, the money's kept some at other place, but it's posted that way. Okay,
But
all those in favor? Approve the treasurer's report?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. None, no opposed, motion carried. I don't have anything under old business, but under new business, and this, I haven't gotten anything from Lamar. This is from Drury, and that's just this piece of paper that she passed around. Did everyone get one? It's kind of misleading, but the fact is that it's the right-hand side down, coming up 55 just after Cape. And it was our most expensive one, and I think, probably speaking out of turn here, but I think it was like 6,400 or something like that. But it was over 6,000. And they've reduced it because we're not replacing the vinyl. The vinyl's good for 3 years. And in order for us to get that sign that we resolved with, it took us about 3 meetings of looking at all the different signs and all the different design work before we came up with that one. Seeing that we don't always have a full quorum, we have a quorum, but not a full membership of the commission, I would propose that if we do decide next year that we want to change the sign, that we begin early, say maybe July or August. Because it takes us a long time for us to meet and to look it over and to decide whether we like it or not, or if we want to change the sign.
Yeah. It's anticipated economic life is 3 years, or they require you to change it after 3 years? So
No, you can keep it as long as
if
you
it's
want.
in good condition and whatever,
Yes.
you're
The
not.
newer
Unless you
vinyls-
want to change it, and then they would just charge you a change fee.
Yeah.
Well, I understand,
But-
but he said 3 years, and I was wondering if,
Well,
That's pretty
usually,
typical on vinyl.
yeah, that's pretty much typical.
I didn't know if they mandated that, or.
No, it's not mandated. I had a sign that I kept, I would say about 5 or 6
So
years.
they don't care if it fades out and rips, as long as you're paying the bill, they'll leave it up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, as long as you pay
I
the
don't know,
bill.
if it ripped, I think that,
Oh, if something happens
Yeah.
to it damage-wise, it's not, it blows down, or it gets ripped, or, so, these are on big posts, so there's no way kind of knock it over.
Well, but the vinyl can get,
But the vinyl can get damaged. If the vinyl gets damaged, and as soon as you see it or anyone tells you it's damaged, you notify them and they replace it.
Mike, what is the anniversary date of the first contract? Month?
February,
Oh, it is, okay.
but it starts in March. We signed the contract. And I have the new contract here.
I believe that was a year ago. We did.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a 14 by 48, 12-month. It says $6,000. But,
So when you first did it, there was a reaction from, Kathy commented, everybody commented that it was doing what it was supposed to do. And a lot of that may or may not have had to do with the newness of it. Is it still doing what you anticipated? Still, you getting comments from people still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We get comments at the Welcome Center that people see it.
and because I'm on the commission, I get comments from, like the Bolduc House and from the restaurants when I go in.
As long as you still get a sense that
Oh, yeah.
it's producing results.
Yes, people are still noticing.
I had received several comments about the style of what was on that thing, and I think one of the problems we had is we did not get input from our tourism director. I think it was done pretty much by the.
Yeah, that was a problem. The problem was.
And it does not exactly fit our branding approach and that sort of
Right.
thing. And
Yeah.
I guess as we go down the road, we ought to be thinking about how we do
Well,
want to change it. And
Let me tell you that I wasn't aware, cognizant enough about billboards until we got into this. And when we researched it and when we talked to people in marketing and that, 7 words is your maximum on a billboard if you want to get the full benefit out of it. The second thing is,
60 miles an hour, you want to be 60
yeah,
miles.
and that's a 70-mile-an-hour strip on both of those. And the second thing is eye-catching. People are good, but it's not as good as a building. Something that, and so because we were using that on our brochure at the time, we stuck with that. And that had been on the brochure for years, and we were still using it. Color was what, we had a big
I
discussion
don't,
about.
I don't want to go back and,
Yeah.
critique it. I just think as we move forward, we ought to be thinking about the next generation billboards, and I
Yes.
think we should involve Sandra from a marketing
Well, and Sandra and I
standpoint.
discussed that this
Yeah.
morning, and why I said we would like to go, you know, with, and maybe when we come up with, say we'll keep it, you know, for our contract. It's a 3-year contract, but a 1 year with a 2-year option, and then a 1 year with a 1-year option.
Excuse me. 3 times over.
And that way, we could have Sandra come up with some plans and some things, because we didn't have it. You have to understand that the tourism director at the time had given us magazine subscription expenses, or not subscription, but magazine advertisement that none of us really liked, especially 2 of our commissioners at the time didn't care for. One was Jack and the other was Gary. So, and so we said to her, give us something else, and she didn't come up with anything for a very long time. And finally in December, we had to get together and really go for this, and so it took us until February. You know, we met in December, we met in January, we met in February to come up with what we were going to do. So it was rather quickly, and not the length of time that we should have, but what she was giving us is not what we want to spend our money on. And so that's why I said to Sandra, I said, maybe what we should do is we should start in June or July and come up with some plans. And here's the thing, they will design it for free. You come up with what you want to do, and they'll come up with various 3 or 4 of what you want. Color, and everything. And then we decided to make them both identical, so that recognition is the other thing. And the reason why we want to do that is because they said, you want to go 40 to 45, 50 miles out, and then you want to hit them at the next exit, where you want to get them off. And if they're both the same, it's recognition is the most important part.
So, you know, my recommendation was that we do start thinking about the next generation vinyl and what it's going to look like, and then we can decide when to implement that.
Right.
I asked Mike if he would ask his billboard rep to send me a JPEG of the sign so that we can begin that process earlier this year.
Yeah. And we'll get them to do
And
that.
they'll charge you a separate replacement charge that won't be figured into the annual rent. So if you wanted to replace it earlier than March of next year, they probably would do it for you in the fall if you wanted to.
Yeah, they would.
It's just that you have to agree to keep that sign under your name for a year or 2 years to get the pricing.
Right, right. Yeah, this, this starts, I'm sorry, it starts April 1 and ends March 31st of 15. I think the reason why, they got it up before that, but they gave us a little leeway.
And Mike, are they giving you a price on the strips at the bottom for changing those out?
They didn't say anything about it, but the price is $250, and that's what we always agreed on. And if you have someone that's putting up the next one, you know, and we really don't like them to leave too long after the event is
Right.
over, that the next one would be 200.
If they can take one down and put one up,
Yes.
same time,
Saves
Same
them labor.
time.
yeah.
Because it's just labor. And those vinyls are, those banners, they call them, are not. And we decide where the banner would go.
Mhm.
Bottom, side.
My question was
top.
just if they're continuing to honor those prices, and I would assume
Yeah,
that they would.
They will honor
Okay.
those prices.
I don't want to make this meeting longer than necessary, but you're talking about it, it cost a little bit or something, I thought was fascinating. I went to their studio, which is in south of the airport, where they actually produce these films.
I've never been there.
They put up this big sheet of vinyl, and the artist moves. The person does the artwork for the Photoshop or whatever they use, and then it projects the image on the vinyl, and the artist is on a scaffold that moves vertically and horizontally, and he's got a gun, and he maneuvers
He's
himself
doing
around.
the spray- he's doing the spray paint.
Yeah, it's just like,
Filling in the blanks, huh?
who thought of that?
a tattoo artist, probably.
It's, well,
Talking about early training, what was that, paint by numbers?
yeah, that's all he's doing.
Yeah.
He's looking at this computer, generated image with
48
numbers
foot
on it,
long
and he's,
paint by number.
he's filling in the blanks.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
It is, it's amazing.
Do you need
Any
a
other
motion?
discussion on that?
Well, have we decided whether we're gonna do a 1-year renewal?
We can only do,
Oh, under your
He's got a
finances.
24.
yeah, he's got a
month.
24, but we can't do that.
You can't commit to a
We
term
can't
longer
commit.
than your.
We can't commit to that.
So do we need a motion
You
to do a 1-year renewal?
Yeah,
You
you could.
can't enter into a contract for more than 1 year.
That's right.
The problem is that the subsequent board can renege, and they will have no recourse. So
Right.
it's, the risk is there, it's not yours.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
We enter into multi-year leases and stuff, but the
And
lessee,
it's a gentleman's agreement that it's a 1 year with a renewal for the second year and a renewal for the third year, rather than take out a 3-year contract. But we don't have to do it. We can say, no, we don't want to do it.
Well, so Martin's saying that you can go for the lower rate of $450 a month by signing the 2-year agreement, even though they have to realize that if a future board said, hey, we don't like this
this
agreement.
board can sign a multi-year
But to
lease,
get
but
that,
only
you have
commit to the
but
first
to
year
get
of
that,
it.
you have to pay the $10,600.
Oh, it's the whole thing prepaid?
$10,260,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we
Mm.
And that's why we don't do it.
I guess I would like to make a motion, we pay the 5,700
is it really 57?
for one.
It'll be only $5,700.
Or it's requires a
I don't know, it's
prepayment.
8,507.
Oh.
Yeah. For 5,700, and then we don't change the final this year.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, hold on, motion to approve. The 1-year renewal, paying $5,700. And what about the vinyl?
And the final will not be changed this year. But I do think we should spend this year designing the final. So, I guess I should amend that motion to include that third part of it.
If you amend your motion to include that, I amend my second.
Okay, I so amend mine to include that we redesign the vinyl, or take time to redesign the vinyl this year. To be more in our branding.
You got all that, Carl?
I'm working on, hold on.
Okay.
I'll reread it back to you.
Okay. You drink both of those,
I did.
and you haven't been to the bathroom yet?
I have not.
Oh, wow.
That's what.
Move this move
This is why Martin's sitting that far away.
Right.
So it'd be more
She looked
geared
like a
towards our
tiger.
branding.
Right.
Yeah,
We have
sometimes
to
she
vote.
acts like one.
We're
Better
gonna wait till she
reflect.
gets
Oh,
back
okay.
to us.
How's that?
Reflects
Yeah.
our branding.
Okay, let me read this and tweak it as necessary. Bob Mueller has made a motion to approve this 1-year renewal, paying $5,700 to Drury Southwest Signs. Is that correct? And that the vinyl not be replaced this year, but the committee take time to redesign the vinyl in this contract year to better reflect St. Genevieve branding.
That's good.
All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. None opposed, so passed. Now, let me mention that we have another sign with Lamar, and I'm going to contact him, and his sign is cheaper. And we'll probably get a discount on that one as well. And we pay that one in 2 payments. because we have the funds, I may ask him if we would get a bigger discount by paying it in one payment.
Do you earn any interest on your fund balance?
If you look at the report,
Yes.
we got $10
Yeah.
for
You're not gonna miss that, are
an
you?
interest for the quarter, and for the 3 quarters, so you're talking, depending on how much we have.
$52.
Yeah, if they would give us like a couple $100, we would really be better off to take the
Sure,
discount.
oh, sure.
So I'll contact the guy from Lamar. Now, we can discuss that at further meetings when we come up with a design, if we want to continue to make them both look alike, so that recognition is,
I think repetition is a good strategy.
I
on
think
those.
so too.
yeah.
Might even want to ask them if they have any southbound reading signs.
Well, they do. They sent me one for southbound.
Or all the locations.
Just for future
But I'll tell you where the location is. It's on 55 on the right-hand side. And only problem is it's just as you leave Festus, it's down by where 61 goes underneath. Problem is you're pretty far away.
The sign is far removed from the interstate?
No, you're pretty far from St. Genevieve and to get off.
Mm.
But on the other hand, it's 30
No,
miles,
that-
but
no,
it's
that's
a
a
high
Lamar sign.
traffic.
Yeah,
That's a high traffic
that's a
interchange right there.
$6,000 sign.
Jeez Louise.
Not from Lamar, from Drury. It's a $6,000 sign from Drury.
Which out of 60s?
It's on 55, where
67?
where 61,
Or 61,
where 61
67.
goes
Laddie
underneath
Boys
it. Just after you pass
Laddie
67.
Boy there.
They're Laddie Boys. It's right down there by Laddie Boys. It's just kind
Yeah,
of
I
far
know that
away.
sign,
And what happened was, we had that sign that was signed just before 32.
It was right at it, right at the exit.
And Andy was the one that nixed that one. I wasn't on the council at that point when it became renewable. And he nixed that.
Well,
one.
30 miles out isn't a bad place to have a sign, but it's like the one down by Jackson. I mean,
Yeah.
people kind of thinking, I'm tired of being in the car. Look, there's something interesting in 30 miles, so let's just wait, and get off there and do something. It wouldn't be a bad place to have a sign, but I would suggest you might want to look at the same strategy of a repeat a little bit closer.
Mhm.
And I think, wasn't there a time, a long time ago, when the one that's at Bloomsdale, it's like, there's a 2 on one side, maybe like the Microtel on one side, and,
And then the other side, on the left side, there's Barley had one, and somebody else has got it. Donnie's has got
Yeah.
it.
Larry and Steiger Bureau sign.
Yeah, well, I think there's one on the left too, right?
But
on the
I
east.
don't think that's the kind of sign
No,
like that. That's on Tom's property, I think.
Yeah.
And that he paints that sign and mows the weeds around it and stuff. I think, I won't swear to that, but I don't think that's a sign by a sign company.
Not by Baker sign.
Yeah, okay.
well, that's always something to look at too, if there are, and then I know the state doesn't allow any new signs like that, they have to be existing, but maybe we should look at other opportunities that may not be owned by Drury or Lamar, that might be existing signs that we could
There's no
ask.
moratorium on signs.
There had been at one point.
There was at one time. That's why they started putting up all the signs. It was federal.
They anticipated it.
Yeah, they
The
anticipated.
legislature
right.
did not pass
And
it.
they didn't pass it, right.
So all these signs went up
Anticipated,
in
and they-
anticipation.
So if we have a private landowner that would allow us to
Well,
put a sign up?
You gotta.
Yeah, you can.
There are rules about, you've got to be on properly zoned property. Of course, if there's no zoning, that's not an issue. You've got to be so many feet from another sign and so many feet from a certain structure, and there's this whole set of rules you got to follow.
Mhm.
But they did not prohibit signs.
That is really good to know.
Well, see,
Might be a-
Microtel owns their sign.
But Drury and Lamar and CBS or whoever it is,
That's
and
another part of Drury, I think.
Portlier,
Built that probably
That's
a week.
different, yeah.
all have more signs now than
Oh,
they
we
can
need to
build.
be the
because
vinyl
they-
on the
look,
material.
Lamar
Trying to
is
keep it
Lamar is
Yeah.
national. Lamar is national.
Right, oh, right.
They're all on the western states and,
I just meant the private landowning thing. I just assumed that there were no new signs allowed, but that's really good.
you know,
to know.
at
They just-
one time, we talked about trying to get,
No, none of the companies need to build anymore. but got all
They got the excess right now.
we talked about trying to get the property owned on 30, on B Road, you know, when the people are going out to the wineries, to get a couple of signs on the way out, and a couple by the farmers on the way back. And those are private property, and the rules on that road is not even, that's not even a secondary road, it's a third, what they call a third level. See, 32 is the secondary, 61 is the secondary, 67 is the secondary, a primary is 55. And on B Road, you know, it's like O Road or M Road, it's mediocre, and you can get signs. And we were looking into finding somebody that would let us just to put up one or two that just said St. Genevieve, because you get people that are coming down to the wineries that aren't coming into the town at all.
I think that might be something very advisable to look at, and Frank Rolfe has been giving me contacts that he has in the vinyl sign industry to look at some very inexpensive ways to get vinyl. So if we can get some private landowners to agree to this, your committee might want to consider some additional vinyl on private land, in addition to these larger contracts, which are certainly advisable, but there might be things that we can do, multiple signs for a little lower
Well,
cost.
and the theory behind what I was talking about is if you've got them off the highway,
Well, and a lot of them are going to the wineries, so why not encourage them to come and visit St. Genevieve as,
And we might consider also in the future, signs in Farmington.
Mhm.
They stole our wineries, we can just go ahead and put signage in their town. Do they spend all that advertising money advertising our county wineries and saying they were St. Francis County wineries?
yeah.
Let's put some signs there, because they're getting a lot of our winery people over there.
That's good. I like that idea. Just put a billboard in Farmington.
Sure. Well, sure, I mean,
Well, the St. Francis County line is very close, within 3 or 4 miles of
City limits.
city limits.
Well, I mean, I would think,
People go to the wineries out there
Yeah.
too, you can have it in St. James County very
you know,
easily.
put it on, kind of. you
Put
could
some
a
signage in
sign
that
on D
direction.
Coming off 55 or something, you know.
there's a lot of
So that-
hotel rooms over
well, see,
there.
Yes,
there's a sign.
After the winery, come back.
There's a sign down there that we looked at when you go down B Road just before you make the turn. We looked at that one, and I think that's a brewery. We thought, you know, maybe I'd take that one. And I mean, when they come in 32, there's a sign there that says go to the winery.
Yep.
It's on private property. And it doesn't meet any of those rules and regulations, and it's a secondary road.
There's no restriction on signage on state highways?
No, it has to be on private property, and the right of way
Well,
is
they're all
very
on private
narrow.
property.
Yeah, but-
Private property, but
But not on the right of way, you're saying?
Not on the right of way.
I don't think they'd get, no sign is on the right.
Well, the one that we got is the one that's got all of the chamber and all of those.
Oh, that's a, yeah, it's a directional.
That's a directional, yes, yes.
I think that would be a really good suggestion, to look at more signs from Farmington leading towards St. Genevieve and from the wineries leading towards St. Genevieve.
Especially on B Road,
Yep.
when they leave the winery.
Yeah.
My thought was, well, you know, on their way to the winery, they're not looking, but when they leave the winery, they're coming back to 55.
And they
That's
have
when
one
you get-
on, in St. Genevieve County, just as the St. Francis County line, will catch up all the traffic going to the wineries unless they go all the way down F and go around, which they probably wouldn't do. So we'd catch.
Back roads?
Yeah,
I don't
no, I
think
think
they
they're
would.
probably coming out 32 and then
Yeah.
going to Twin Oaks and
Yeah.
Sand Creek and then down to Kaufman.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, I would suggest that we look at both of those options,
Yeah.
because from Farmington, they go 2 ways to get to the major wineries.
The, right.
F and
Mhm.
and 32.
Mhm.
Yeah. The other thing I'd suggest, maybe, it was brought up earlier, is banner schedule, and maybe you can work with the major activities, because that should be planned. It could
It
give
should
them
be.
a break.
It should be. Now, see, Jack, for one of theirs, he took both, he put it on both signs.
Who approves, like, the banner that goes over 4th Street?
Each one of the committees that do events have
Who gives
different
them
banners.
permission to put it up? Citizens?
Citizens.
Citizens does, and they actually put it up for them.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But you,
special
but in that case, you've got them in
signs.
town.
No, but, well, it's just a content question, I can't regulate content.
Most of the time, those are paid for by like Coca-Cola
Budweiser.
or Budweiser or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I'm used to seeing the event signs, and
Yeah.
then one goes up for National Health Week, you know, that the hospital puts up.
Right.
Those signs don't say Budweiser or Pepsi on them.
Not everybody does. I know we bought our own for the garden walk. It was something that we paid for and use it each year.
I think Rural Heritage and French Festival both pay for their own, too.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
And
don't
that's,
think it's-
and that's the one that Jack bought to put on our billboard.
But I think we need to figure out what's gonna go up next, you know, are we gonna do garden walk? If we don't wanna do that, you know, there's French Festival, do they wanna do it? But right after French Festival, we need to have Jour de Fête go up, and right after Jour de Fête, we need Rural Heritage Days to go up, and
Which is
Exactly.
what we did last fall, but what you're suggesting is have a schedule, make sure the committee chairs are aware of the opportunity,
Yeah.
that they've got their ducks in a row and they're
Yeah.
ready.
Okay, any further business to come before the commission? Okay, not appearing, make a motion?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Just in time, Clementine's getting antsy back there.
Yeah,
She's got deadlines to meet.
Yes.
okay,
All in favor, aye.
just in time. All right.
Thank you.